This is a conversation that I want to have with anybody who's willing to listen. I grew up in the 80s, 51 years old. 80s were amazing. That's when we were into all different types of music. You had rock bands, the big hair bands, and you had club music and house music and rap music and R&B. Music was one of those things that we all got to enjoy together, all types of music. It was a fun time. We played outside till the street lights came on, and we knew not to be rude or disrespectful, because not only did you have to deal with your parents, you had to deal with your neighbors and people who knew your parents or any other adult. We had this level of respect of respect of authority, or respect your elders. It wasn't a time where people would say, you have to earn my respect for me to respect you. We just respected people because that's how we were raised. And as time went on, we went from beepers to cell phones to now the internet. Back in the day we called it the World Wide Web. What's getting to me that I wanted to have this conversation with you is the times for these young people really suck. I mean, come on. I was raised in a household where we had to live by the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. As much as I love technology, because you're watching me on this, and this gives me the ability to reach out to people, it has pushed us back so far. I can't open my phone or turn on a television without seeing adults be the antithesis of what I was taught as a young person. Just disrespectful and ignorant and just nasty and belligerent and just hurtful and mean and don't care what they say, and, giving people titles, keyboard warriors and all that crap. Come on. Who raised you? Who raised you? And especially people in my generation or older, where did your values go? Where did your values go? I mean, when did we become such a sick group of humans that we forget our humanity? I mean, I do know that there's mental illness in the world, and as you get older, sometimes you forget. But forgetting to be a good human, that I really, really struggle with. And the worst part about it is I feel for my kids, for their generations. I'm like, damn, my girls were born during 9/11. Well, I'm sorry, they weren't born, but they were around 4 or 5 years old. They were old enough to be impacted by what they saw. And I remember feeling so bad for them. Oh my goodness, this is awful that these poor kids have to witness such atrocity, such sadness, such fear. But for the most part, we didn't have that. Yes, we had your ignorant people, and we had misogynism, we had racism, we had all the isms, but the majority of people knew better than to spew the worst part of themselves for everyone else to just suck up. It was in the shadows, in the darkness. Yeah, you'd get some glimpses sometime, but damn, what happened to people that you just don't care about how you make someone else feel? You don't care about someone else's struggle. You don't care about somebody else's pain because it's not yours. Kindness is the rent we pay to live on this planet. I'm not coming on here to rant, and I am definitely not trying to berate anyone. But check yourself. Are you a part of the solution or are you a part of the problem? And unfortunately, us little people are not always in the position to evoke change the way we wish we could. But do what you can do for the greater good for your fellow humans, humanity. The kids are watching. I always say more is caught than taught. I think I got that from Dave Ramsey. It's not what you always teaches how you show up. Who are you being as an adult? And when you were on your deathbed, and I can tell you that I have witnessed a few people take their last breath, and it is a profound, heartbreaking, enlightening experience. I have watched people come into this world, and I have watched people leave. And at those moments, all this other stuff is just stuff. It is crap. And it dictates so much of our day to day. And it's not even it's not always the things that are said. It is the things that are not said. And when you hear things, you're like, that's out of character. That's not the person that I know. It doesn't line up with the values or the character of somebody that I know. And then you hear people staying quiet on things that are impactful. Like, I would love to walk around in life and put my head in the sand. And I have made a lot of YouTube videos on here, and I've talked about things that are in day-to-day life. And then sometimes I have nothing to say because I don't have anything nice to say. Just think about this, okay? Just think about your day-to-day, your moments. Every moment you get to choose how you want to show up in the world. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be remembered? Do you donate your families to politics? Do you donate your family due to your values instead of having a conversation? Do the people that matter to you? Do you sit down and say, listen, you said some things, or the way that you're behaving is not what I know of you. Can we talk? Can we talk to each other? With respect, with kindness, with the values that our grandmothers taught. And if you didn't have an old school grandma, I'm sorry if grandma was in the club, I'm sorry. But there's a generation of people who had the old school grandma. The one that you did not roll your eyes at, the one that you did not raise your voice, or what they would say, don't speak to me in that tone of voice. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. That's the generation of people that I come from. And what I'm seeing today, and yesterday, and at night, in the morning, and every time I open my phone, I see the ugliness of others, actions of others that are ugly. And the worst part about it is I see people condoning ugliness. And I don't care. Ugliness is not a party. Ugliness is not an idea. Ugliness is a behavior. People choose to be ugly. You can choose to support ugly, or you can say, you know what? I don't like that. I don't agree with that. Oh, you know what? I agree with this, but I don't agree with that. And that's what makes us human. But when we start getting to a position where we just close our, turn your head, close your eyes, pretend you don't see it, look for people who agree with you all the time, look for points of view that fit in line with your way of thinking so you can live in a wonderful world of confirmation bias. We need to really check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. And I don't care if, I do care. I don't mean it to say that way. One day you're going to get old. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Pray to the Lord that one day you get old. And if you don't, you don't. But there's going to be a day that you are no longer going to be here. But the people you leave behind will. How do you want to be remembered? Who do you want to be? When someone brings your name up in a conversation when you are not there, what do you want said? Or do you not care? And if that's great, then we don't have to worry about AI because we've already created a bunch of robots with no feelings. Sometimes, all the time, doing what is right will always, always, always be better than being right. Take this how you will. I don't belong to any camp of anything unless it's a human being. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm on a soapbox or I am being terse. I am disappointed. I am sad. I am a 51-year-old person who shows up every day to try to be a good person. And I'm sad. I am sad. I am sad for my grandkids that haven't been made yet. I am sad for the younger generations who get to watch all the values that they were taught as kids go right down the freaking sewer drain. The whole, no bullying. Remember the whole anti-bullying campaign? No bullying? Every day, all I see is bullies. And maybe it's my algorithm. But like I always say, when I hit the friggin' lottery, because one day I will, when I hit the lottery, I'm going to start the Feel Good Network. I'm going to start the Good News Network, because I know that most of us are the best of us. And the majority of people, the silent ones, sometimes they're silent, are the ones who want to spread goodness. So do me a favor. I ask you to do me a favor. Spread some goodness today. Compliment somebody if you see something you like. Lift somebody up. Share words of kindness, love, respect. And if you can't think of something, do what your grandma probably told you to do back in the day. You remember that, right? Or did you forget so easily? And your mom and your dad. Whoever those people were in your life, the ones that you could not roll your eyes at, the ones that you couldn't speak to in a certain tone of voice, the ones that garnered your respect, show up for them. They may not be here anymore, but we don't need them rolling around in their graves. Have an amazing day.